Hello, it's Lion here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're going to be doing another Mashle review. Today we're going to be looking at arc number 4, which I can't remember the title of, but basically it's the 4 chapters after the Magus Lupus arc that kind of functions as a transition arc, right? So the premise here is basically that. It's a transition arc. It deals with the issue of what to do with Mash and the fact that he has no magic, right? And it's mostly a way to go from school level problems to national level problems, more or less. And I think it worked out pretty well. So first of all, let me show you just kind of how it looks like here in the book. It's literally only 4 chapters, and only 3 of them are important. The last chapter is more or less a slice of life chapter just to kind of fill out the arc and just to kind of have a good little bit of easygoing, fun, ridiculous, comedy before the start of the series, right? Or the start of the next arc. So, yeah, let's get into the plot line here. Basically, it introduces the divine visionaries and the fact that there's a lot of them, and there's also some kind of duty attached to their title, right? So we kind of learn about it later, but there's basically like one for fighting, one for creatures, one for this, one for that, and it all depends on what it is that they're specialized at or something, which is pretty cool. So scene shift, we have Mash at a tribunal or some sort of court case kind of thing, very similar to when Harry Potter has to face a court case about the fact that he used magic in a Muggle area. Again, it borrows a lot of very clear, distinct plot points from Harry Potter, and I think it does it well. And it's different enough that it's not like literally plagiarizing. It is just more or less a certain level of similarity that I think is balanced really well, and it's also kind of well balanced compared to other things like right now 7 Spellblades, which have like a very similar kind of vibe, right? So I like it. Basically, magic is innate to this world, and things that have no magic are therefore not innate, and it is a crime to be alive if you are a human that has no magic. I'm not really sure how this works for other things, like animals. I mean, do they eat magical goats and magical, cows and shit? Or do they have normal animals and it's just humans that they apply to this logic to? Of course, I don't really want an answer. This is just kind of a hypothetical. And honestly, it would make more sense for it to be inconsistent instead of it being consistent, because humans are inconsistent. And so it makes sense to have this really kind of stupid rule and then no one questioning the validity of it based on the fact that there's non-magical things elsewhere, right? I just bring this up because they say that magic is a gift from God, and that if God created everything, non-magicals are an aberration, right? And it's a little sus, but it works for the plot point, right? So, yeah. As this is kind of being explained to Mash, this other guy, Rio Grants, who is the Light Cane, or the visionary designed, or rather asked to deal with a certain type of things, that gives him the title of Light Cane. I think he is the captain of the Magic Security Forces, and I'm pretty sure that he was a divine visionary at some point. Otherwise, he wouldn't have that special title there. So, yeah, he's like, okay, this kid doesn't have magic, so let's see if he can do something better than magic. Another type of miracle, right? So he gives him a candle, and he's like, light this without touching it. And so Mash does, because Mash has the ability, through sheer muscle power, to do things that no one else can, which is how he has been able to replicate magic, right? And so he does it. And everyone is surprised, but it doesn't really sway anyone besides Rio. Because the guy leading the tribunal basically already decided what to do with Mash, right? So, pretty interesting how that works, but it doesn't end up doing anything, right? So, the Divine Visionaries show up at this point. There's a bunch of them, and they basically all want to kill Mash. It's not exactly unanimous, but it is more or less like the decision that has been reached by this guy that literally looks like Harry Potter. Even though there's a bunch of characters that look like Harry Potter in this manga, but this guy even has glasses like Harry Potter. So this is the most Harry Potter looking dude in the whole manga, and he's like, okay, I don't care, you're gonna die. And he has a special type of like sand magic, and as that's about to happen, the guy leading the tribunal has apparently been taken over by this sort of magical parasite that kind of reminds me of the Goa'uld from Stargate, if you guys are familiar with that. And it kind of attaches to the base of his neck, and it controls him. And basically, the innocent Zero, like Voldemort, basically the Voldemort people, talk through him, and they're like, "This world is ours. This boy is ours. You cannot take him from us." And well, no one really decides that this is sus. The fact that MASH has been claimed by them. Rather, they think of it as a way of the innocent Zero to claim kind of like superiority over others, I guess. And it's kind of interesting. I didn't really get that part, but it works, whatever. And MASH saves this guy because apparently magical people have an aversion to these magical parasites, and the stronger the magical person is, the more harm this parasite does to them. So MASH has no magic, and so he steps up and he beats this thing quite easily. And so he sways the guy that was about to kill him, right? Or about to decree that he die. And as this is happening, the Divine Visionaries still want to kill him. So what happens is that Wahlberg and Rain show up, and they ask for MASH to be allowed to live. And then Wahlberg is like, doesn't matter that it's, just because I like this kid, it's also because it's an important tool in our repertoire against Innocent Zero. They have only ever reached us through duplicitous means, and now that MASH is with us, they talk to us directly, and that is a very valuable tool in order to take them down. So please let MASH be alive so that we can continue to use him, right? It's a kind of technique in order to bring value to MASH so that they can prolong his life for a little bit longer. And it works out more or less, which is quite good. And then there's one chapter of slice of life moments where basically all of the friends that MASH has made along the way all go shopping together and have a fun time at like the Diagon Alley of this place, which is called like Marchet Street or something. It was pretty fun, but it's not my favorite. I cared more about the first 3 chapters of this arc, which were really, really good. Characters-wise, we learn a bunch of names, and most of them don't really mean much to us yet. We have Rio Grant. We have Neri Sean, who is not really an important character. He's kind of like a staff member of the Bureau of Magic. Then we have Renatus Revel. Again, not an important character. He is a Divine Visionary, though. Surara Hailstone, who happens to have some sort of cold powers. Caldo Gehenna, who has a cool last name. Agito Tyrone. Sophia Biblia, who happens to be some sort of Divine Visionary of Knowledge and something like that. And then we have Orter Madil, or Mount, who is the older brother of one of the characters that showed up earlier that fought Rain. And he also happens to be like an important Divine Visionary. And he's also the character that looks like Harry Potter because he has the glasses. And this guy seems to be the major antagonist going forward, besides the Innocent Zero people, right? So pretty excited about where this goes. World building wise, the magic parasite, the types of Divine Visionaries is basically all we got. There really wasn't much else there. And honestly, there's only 4 chapters, so there really can't be that much beyond that, right? And I guess we also learned that there's a magical street place, but the whole country is magic, so a magical street place doesn't really count as something special, because technically every street would be a magical street place, so there you go. Artwork and fanservice wise, the artwork is as good as any that have been before, but mostly because there's no action, we don't really get those awesome ramp-ups in artistry, right? So it's all right. No fan service again, so that's good for those that care. Ratings wise is a 3 out of 5, or 3.5 out of 5, just because there really wasn't much time for anything to happen, and so I didn't really enjoy this as much as I would any other arc, just because there wasn't substance there due to the fact that it's so short. So there you go. That's all I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.